I think we already went through Denver, Nuggets. That thing is pretty much done for. Let's see here. OKC Pelicans. Is there any chance Zion returns? Have we seen?
Can we get a injury update on Zion at all? Do we have a Shams tweet at this point on the hamstring?
So it looks like I'm
What
getting
does this
two
do
different
for your
reports.
Zion stock?
Uh, um, I don't know. So Shams said
Oh, we do
they
have a
have
Shams
to
tweet.
win the first round.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's out for the first round.
yesterday. Yeah, a day. But then 3 days ago, um, Zion said that returning is realistic. So he thinks he can come back in the playoffs. Here's the thing. The Pelicans have a real chance if Zion comes back. I mean, that game against the Lakers, like you could see a real chance of him coming back, and
They might
or
have
you
won
could
that game.
see real talent there taking him. Yeah, if he had played that full the whole time, like the Lakers could have been in a position to be in an elimination game, which might have actually helped them out better in the long term. But Zion,
You should
I
have known
mean
it.
Zion, yeah, you definitely should have. But yeah, Zion, it's just, I mean, that playoff game, I think, or the playing game definitely showed the potential that this team has. You've seen their growth. I know last year we were talking about how the Pelicans are underperforming, but their players are just continue to get better. And it's kind of sad that, they have to rely on Jonas Valanciunas to do anything serious. But yeah, I don't know. Also, shout out Russell Westbrook punching people as always. But anyway,
Oh,
I
there's a
don't know.
brawl.
Yeah, yeah, he was kind of pushing Doncic like you don't touch the player, star guy like that. Of course, Westbrook doing something stupid. But um, I don't know. Do you think the Pelicans have a realistic chance of winning this series with Zion? And I don't know, could they at least steal a game without Zion? Like,
Well, I mean, they might, but if they had the Zion thing is tough now because I think you're right. They would have a real chance, but the injury thing is now. I think the thing is, there was always the hope that it was the Pelicans' fault, and the Pelicans were the one that were being overly
yeah,
cautious with him at the end of these, at the end of this season. And maybe that's still the case,
yeah.
but the injury play itself was not like a super dramatic play, if I remember it correctly, right? He was just like jumping, and didn't he just like land wrong
Yeah,
and
I mean
tweak
it's
it?
similar to the shoe thing. Like it was a non-contact
Yeah.
injury. I mean his shoe didn't bust like that, but he definitely it was a non-contact thing. So, it's his own weight, poor guy again,
Well,
just
but
because he's
it's
so
not even
big and
that though,
so fast.
because
So
yeah, he's in shape. Like he's clearly in shape now.
yeah, but he's still a big guy. Like how heavy
He
is
is.
that? He's still huge.
Shout out
Like,
back to back Michigan
and you see
guys,
him.
Blake Corum and Roman Wilson off the board to the Rams and the Steelers. But I mean,
Let's see,
he again, he's
Zion.
not
I
like
mean he's still 284.
well, we'll have to
He might be a
get him on the scale after this. But like he was
Weight
in
Watchers.
great
Have you
playing
ever
shape,
seen that
so it's not
report?
like it was an out of shape
Yeah.
injury or something like that.
Oh no, we're not calling Zion fat, but with all those muscles and
Yeah,
bones and
we're
how
not Stephen
big he
A.
is, if you're still with those muscles and bones and stuff, like how big he is, you're moving, jumping around like that. Your body can only take so much weight. It's physics, and it's something we've talked about beforehand. And so I don't know. I mean, he dropped 25 pounds, is what the story was in March since the in-season tournament. So yeah, he's been working on it. He recognizes it, and shout out to him for doing it. But it's something that might plague his career, and it's tough because I mean, people talk about being built different, and he is built different, and his body might not be able to handle it.
Again, there is still, I think, because the injury, I don't know, the non-contact is a serious thing, but there is still like a chance that it's the Pelicans being a little cautious with this group. And I think this group is pretty talented. Like, I don't know, without
Yeah.
Zion, should they be able to should they still be able to go like 6? Should that be
They
realistic?
went to overtime last game, right? Or it was
Well,
down
that
to the
game
wire?
1 was down to like the last shot. I mean, there were some free
Oh, the
throws at
game
the end
one.
where they were
Yeah,
going
yeah,
back and
game
forth.
one.
But yeah, game 1 was super close.
Yeah.
So is 6 too much to ask for without Zion? Like if it was peak Brandon
Yeah.
Ingram, whatever the best version of Brandon Ingram was. Remember Brandon Ingram versus
I
the
mean, when he
Suns in that playoff
scored,
series?
yeah, I mean, when he scored 12 points, that's when it was close. You know, when in the low round. I don't know. I mean, they benched Brandon Ingram when they had when they could in the playing game, you know.
That's what I'm
So
saying. If he was actually playing to his peak, would it be unrealistic?
I mean, I don't think it'd be unrealistic, but is him playing at his best the best thing for the team? You know, is the team at their best when he plays at his best? You know, or is it just the number of shots and the way he gets those shots really good for the team?
I don't think the team is. I don't know if it's necessarily best for the team, but I think there is a little bit of the Pelicans have got. I don't know necessarily how well Brandon Ingram and Zion play together. And the fact that the roster is as talented as it is, and it seems like for the last 2.5 months now, Brandon Ingram and Zion have kind of flip flop back and forth on who's playing. I do actually think that's kind of benefited them a little bit because I don't know if that's going to be the long-term top two duo for them there. So again, I think it is like it might not be a better version of the team than when Zion is playing. But I think it would be like, hey, this team is good enough that like a Brandon Ingram led team with this supporting cast should be, I think, a competitive team.
No, it should be. It should be a competitive team. And honestly, OKC is probably one of the weaker number 1 seeds in the last couple of years. I definitely could see them getting knocked out in the next round by either the Clippers or the Mavs, which we'll get into a little bit. But yeah. They definitely should win a game at home. You know, they need to get something out of the Smoothie Center. So we'll see. We'll have to.
And McCollum, like the last month of the regular season, was like 40% from 3, and he just has completely lost that in the playoffs. So if he was even back a little bit to that again, maybe in that game 1, if he hits another 3 or 2, they're right back in it. So I kind of have. I think I think again, I really have liked what we've seen from the core guys. It's just, if Zion was healthy and we got to see Zion versus Chet is just a really favorable matchup, I think, for the Pelicans that they would be able to take advantage of. And again, Zion, it's not just Zion taking over, but Zion at the end of games was like a real go-to guy and being clutch and getting to the basket, getting free throws. He gets calls. The refs like giving him the whistle, and that's important too. So
yeah, no, he does.
I think he was really like, I think firmly planted for me back in like, oh yeah, this is clearly like a franchise guy. And it's now, again, the injury thing is kind of like
keeps coming up.
It's just another season where that happens.
But you know, he again showed in that playing game why you can't trade him, why you can't get rid of him, and why you have to keep riding this roller.
Would you rather have him or Paolo right now?
Him. I'd rather have Zion.
Would you rather have Zion or Cade?
I don't know. I would go Zion just because I know he can help a winning situation. I don't know what Cade's at like on a winning team. Even when he was with Oklahoma State, like they were a solid team, but they weren't a great team. You know, Kansas was still able to beat them. So I haven't really seen Cade in a winning, consistently winning situation.
Has Zion done enough to reclaim his status as number 1 from that draft? Would you rather have him or Ja?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Both of them can't stay healthy for nothing. It's bad. I mean, he's definitely, at least him, like there's rumors and stories coming out about him off the court, but at least it's not him like straight up doing stuff off the court.
Which is just Stephen A.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. So I'd still have Zion as of right now.
Oh, he's back. And it's not like
That's
Darius Garland has swooped in these playoffs and like taken that spot from him either. I know the Cavs are
yeah.
winning, but again, I don't think
I mean, they did just lose to the. They
no,
did
they're up
just lose to the
2-1,
Warriors.
but
Yeah,
I think it's been a little bit more Mitchell than it has been Garland.
yeah. Shout out Paulo, 36 and 17. Yeah, crazy. Next series, and what in my opinion is my favorite, Timberwolves over the Suns, up 2-0, and I think they're playing tonight, right?
They're up
Um,
next.
yeah. But I love this series. Just watching the Timberwolves take it to what is, Booker, a prideful guy. He's been a, prideful team. And KD, a guy who keeps trying to, team up and find some combination to win a championship on his own team. And the Timberwolves just being like, no, no, that's not happening. And I know Anthony Edwards, a couple months ago, made said that, oh, you guys got, they got KD, we got Jaden Daniels, and everyone makes fun of him. Well, who's laughing now? You know, Jaden Daniels definitely outplayed KD last game. He's been a really big piece for them on the defensive side all year and series long. And I really love this Timberwolves team, and I love watching them take apart this Suns team.
Well, let's go through it for the Suns. Like, as a duo, where would you take Durant and Booker if you're trying to win the title and build a team? Like, take the Grayson Allen, Bradley Beal, Jurkic, Nurkic, whoever they got rostered. Like, we get that might not be enough to win the title, obviously, but Durant and
Yeah.
Booker as a duo, would you rather have them or the 1 seed Thunder, Shea and J Dub? You want to win the title
I
this
think
year?
when you look at the defensive side as well, that's where it gets tough because J Dub as a defender is better than the rest of the other three, but good dunk. So I
I mean, you're
just,
not taking him over
I
Murray and
guess
Jokic, obviously.
SGA. Yeah, SGA does rank number one in steals, I think, in the league. I think that's a real stat in the regular season. So I
Mhm.
know he definitely
He was at least second in
is.
per game, and he might have been number one in total.
Yeah. Let me see. KD, the first game of the series, he had 31,
He was,
7,
yeah, he went
15,
off.
1. And the second game, he had 18, 6. Yeah. And so I don't, I don't want to write off and be like KD's washed, but it's just what happens when you trade all this for when you have all this that you trade for a guy. The part that these superstars don't, it doesn't seems like they don't remember is you still got to play with that team that traded all that stuff for you. So you still got to have an actual team once you arrive. And while Booker is a great player, he made it. His team really started winning once they got Chris Paul. Once they got a real point guard, and this team doesn't have a real point guard. That's what's helping the Timberwolves is they have Mike Conley, they have
Conley.
Kyle Anderson. They got smart guards. And this the Suns don't. And good guard play is crucial for the league. So for the team. So I really we'll have to see what I don't know. I really don't know how Phoenix turns it around because I mean it really feels like we're watching, excuse me, Edwards take this to another level,
Was that a
him having a
bulky?
superstar moment, and I'm here for it.
Was that,
Was
excuse
that
me,
a
a
what?
bulky? Did you just rip a fart? Did you
No,
see the
I
Trent
burped.
Bulky clip? The Jags GM
No, I didn't.
when he just ripped one and
Oh,
he's
did
like,
he? Did
my
he fart
bad.
on the TV?
Yeah. And then he was just like, excuse me.
No, no,
And
I
then
just
just kept
burped.
it moving.
And like I know Edwards only had like 15, 5 and 5, 8 and 5 in last game, and it was more Jaden Daniels game, but that was growth. I think I think Edwards being able to be mature and take a step back and let guy, Jaden Daniels really take over the moment, even though, he did still, I mean, Edwards just had a straight up bad game. He went 3 of 12 from the field. But but letting Jaden Daniels take more shots when he's hot. I think that's what you see from the really great players. In Curry when he saw his teammates getting hot, LeBron too, and yeah, I'm really excited to see the way Minnesota's playing because I think they're the only team, and yes, I am including the Celtics. I think they're the only team in the league that could possibly stop the Nuggets. And
Mm.
them combined with them with the Nuggets being the only teams to sweep someone, I think so far. Right? Is that true? I think yeah, they're
Unless
the
the
only
Thunder
two
do it.
teams. Yeah, unless the Thunder do it. But yeah, if the Pelicans are able to steal a game, I mean, they seem like the two most likely teams to sweep who they're playing. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait for that series. And that's only the semifinals.
So are you in? So what would you do with Phoenix then? Like, are you in blow it up mode, or is it still something you would try to salvage with Durant and Booker? I guess that's what I'm curious about with
Yeah.
Durant and Booker. Like, do you still feel like as a duo you can build a title winning team around them? Like, is it like would it be crazy to say like J Dub is better than Durant at this point? Like, is that where we're at, or is it still
Uh,
we just need
that
to?
is a little crazy.
It's just we need to figure out what's going on around them.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little crazy, but the thing is like both of them have huge contracts and I mean, their team, they have Bradley Beal. I think he has a huge contract as well. I don't know. I don't think it's an expiring contract. Let me look this up.
Not yet. He's
Exactly. They have
still on that what 50+ million dollar
Nurkic.
one.
Yeah, they have Nurkic, who also I think had a abnormally large contract for his position. And thankfully he's been able to stay healthy, but knock on wood, you don't know if that'll last. So it's really tough because doing another trade now with the apron rules and all of that, I'm pretty sure they're restricted by apron rules. They have to be really close with the amount of money they have on the books. So they're not only having tough flexibilities in that term, but to get, swept in the first round for a team that sees themselves as one of the best in the league, as like real contenders is huge. It's huge for this team. And I don't know. I mean, Kevin Durant, how many times is he going to keep moving around? He gets over to the Nugget Nets and they really try. I honestly think they should have they should have stuck around longer with the Nets. I understand why what happened had to happen. I get it. But I mean, you think about the amount of talent they had on that Nets team. I mean, and then, but of course, Simmons leaves or Simmons doesn't play, and Kyrie has those issues with the COVID rules, and it's just a whole mess. So I understand why they wanted to get out of there. It just breaks my mind how much talent they had on that team outside of even the top three guys, and they weren't able to figure it out. Um, but to then also now come to the Suns and have them get rid of all these players just for you to come in. It limits their options so much. I'm pretty sure that they don't have a draft pick for the next 6 years, I believe. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I saw it. I'm pretty sure since 20 till
Well, with
2030.
stipend rule, that's probably impossible. But
I don't know. When is or not another first round draft pick?
oh no, never mind. Phoenix is 2 picks for the next like decade, or a second round pick in
Exactly.
24 and a second round pick in 28.
Exactly. They don't have another first rounder
That sounds
until
crazy.
exactly.
HBO, what are you doing, bro?
Exactly. How's that even possible? I knew I wasn't crazy. Like, so
HBO just
I
broke
don't
my
know.
voice. I mean, what are we doing here?
Like what? How's that? I don't even know how the league let that happen. That's the real question. Like,
What is the stipend rule doesn't mean any what just happened? How did they get around that?
I think it's the second apron stuff because the apron takes your first rounders, doesn't it?
Oh, is that what it is?
Does
I think you're right.
NBA apron?
If you're in that for multiple seasons, I think you
Yeah,
might get hit with first round pick
rules
violations.
take first rounders. Yes,
Okay,
this is IT looking this up.
I was in the trade machine I was looking at Bradley Beal. He's got the $50 million. It's definitely a fat paycheck. But if there was like a Markelle Fultz sign and trade with the Magic and the Joe Ingles expiring and Jet Howard, I don't know. Somebody might not. I don't feel like was Beal. What was your take on Beal's season this year?
I
It's
thought
not
it was
over yet. Maybe they
okay.
could win tonight. They could win tonight
Yeah,
and be 2-1. But
it was okay, but I don't. Do you ever like? Do you remember like it was like, oh my gosh, there was a Bradley Beal night. Like I don't think there's any time he really showed up great. I mean,
would you
I'll
rather have
look up the
him or Jeremy
stats.
Grant? Can you trade those? Can you just flip those guys?
Yeah,
Can
I
you call
definitely rather have
Portland?
Jeremy Grant because he'll play way better defense. He averaged 18, 5 and 4, 5 and 4, 51% from three, 43 from
He
three.
shot well
But
this year.
yeah, but I mean, you don't bring him in for 18 points a game. Like even 20 is decent, like at least 20 points a game. Like 14, 15 points in the last two games. Uh, in the playoffs. Let me see here. I mean, he was out a lot this year. I mean, he finished the season strong against Minnesota, 36 points. But I mean, you don't, yeah, like I mentioned, you don't bring him in to average 18 points over the season. And you're definitely trying to see, have them do better. The Suns haven't had a first round pick since 2021 when they took Day'Ron Sharpe, 29th overall, and then traded his rights and Javon Carter. So even their last first rounder in 2021, they got rid of. So from 2021 until whenever their next one is, that might be the next decade.
Would
Um,
you would you do LeBron for Beal and Grayson Allen? How many levels did Grayson Allen climb this year for you?
you said LeBron and Grayson Allen.
LeBron for Beal and Grayson Allen. You get Grayson Allen on the Lakers.
Um, LeBron,
The trade value says that is not great.
yeah. So
It,
they get LeBron and they give up Grayson Allen.
Indiana, would Indiana take him?
Who? Grayson Allen?
Beal,
Oh, Beal?
Toronto.
Maybe. I mean, no one wanted Beal when he was leaving Washington. So they did it. Just to clarify, they still have, because of the stipend rule, they'll still have first rounders this year, 26, 28, and 30. It's just they get the least favorable of pick between the Wizards and then so the next three are with the Wizards or Grizzlies or Magic or Nets or Grizzlies. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, all that to say, they will still get first rounders until 2030. It's just it'll be the worst possible. And so, yeah, so they won't have a normal, they haven't had a normal first round pick since 2021, and they won't have another normal one until 2031. So for a decade, they've either not picked in the first round or they've had a bad first rounder, which they expect anyway for their team if you have KD and Booker. But yeah, that's a yikes.
Can you get Harrison Barnes for him?
For
And
Bradley
Davion
Beal,
Mitchell?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I could see that. I could see
Mm,
that. That would be a decent salary thing. You could probably cut Davion Mitchell, put him on
yeah,
the
the
bench or something.
salaries aren't lining up great.
Yeah,
Gonna have to keep workshopping this one.
we'll see. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Where can KD go? Like, how many times can you bail out of somewhere? I remember earlier this season he was talking about bailing out again.
Where does
Like,
KD go?
well,
They do
he's the one
the
that keeps slithering out of places. So
maybe he does what he did back in Golden State. He goes to Minnesota. Just joins the team that beats him. Would
They
you do
trade
KD
Jaden
for Michael
Daniels.
Porter?
No, no. If you're Denver, you love the age, the youth, and being set for years on end. But I could see Minnesota trying to maybe get rid of Cat for KD.
I mean, we threw it out
Maybe,
there earlier in the year, so I didn't want to bring it back up
yeah.
because I didn't know if Cat's value has since, improved with Minnesota looking so good in the playoffs. But I mean, KD for Cat,
Throw it out there. The salary's probably close.
it's
If
probably
you're gonna
close. And
you're gonna overpay for someone.
you get Booker and Carl Towns rejoining forces,
Exactly. Kentucky guys. I
back
can see that.
teammates, keep Booker
I
happy.
know Anthony Edwards could use the additional shooting. That team could use some shooting.
What was the team I just
I don't
said?
think it would hurt.
What was the other team I said? Maybe he goes to Dallas. I don't know. I feel like,
Yeah.
I mean, KD can fit anywhere. That's the
Kyrie
thing.
again.
Miami?
I don't think he wants to go with Kyrie again. I honestly, yeah, Miami's too hard nosed for him. I think Minnesota could be a legitimate option if they want to move on from Cat and his contract. Because they're gonna, I don't know, they're gonna have to do something with that contract. But getting an actual playoff guy, they don't have a lot of experience on that team. I mean, Gobert has been in some series, but so I think, I don't know, Katie wouldn't hurt. We'll have to see. Team
Philly?
USA. That's what he said. Team USA basketball.
Maybe he's the
They're gonna be
Philly
playing
guy.
with him. We'll see.
Philly is going to be in the mix for one of these guys. I'm watching this playoff series watching that last game. They're going to be in the mix for one of these guys.
Paul George. Yeah, Paul George is going to be on the move. I don't think he's going to stick around.
Is Paul George a free agent this year?
I think so. I think he's the main one. They're talking about him leaving.
Is it him and Siakam?
But that's why I was saying the Team USA, they're going to be recruiting KD if he's out in the first round.
KD to Philly.
LA,
No, he's not going to play with LeBron.
Horses wait. Who knows? I'm telling you, Team USA.
Would you trade KD for LeBron? Would you do that if you're the Lakers? Do you get closer to beating the Nuggets with
No, I don't think you can trade it for each other.
That would be the most bonkers trade of all time.
AD and KD.
LeBron for KD.
Like a 5-letter trade. AD for KD. Wait, let me see. Paul George contract. And then 4-5 just ended.
Would you rather have
Mavs.
Paul George or Durant if you're the
Sixers?
Sixers? Not to do our early offseason preview. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. I guess we're talking about Paul George though. The Mavs beat the Clippers at home, going up 2-1 in the series, and they really took it to them. They really. I mean, they were up by 20 at points or close to 20 in the game. They're pushing and shoving. Westbrook's getting mad and all that, but I don't know. It was weird because the Clippers were, pretty comfortably winning without Kawhi, but I don't think that really is what won them that first game. I think what won them the first game was the Mavs scoring less than double digits in a quarter. You're not going to win a game like that.
And Harden heat checking from 3.
Yeah.
Hit like 6 threes in that game.
I think it was just 8 points in a quarter. I mean, you stretch that over a game. 32 points in a total NBA game. You're not gonna win with that. So now that they're playing like an actual NBA team, you see Doncic and Kyrie really playing. I think it's a little not spicy enough to say they'll win the series. Could we see them in the Western Conference Finals pushing the Nuggets? Because I definitely could see them beating OKC.
Why are you so resigned to the Thunder losing? The Thunder were the 1 seed this year. What did you say earlier? They're the weakest 1 seed of all time.
Playoffs are different.
What does that even mean?
One of the weakest in a while. OKC's weak. What do you mean? We super inexperienced, no physically weak. Like they have no big man in the paint. Like they get outmatched by a team that has some size. They're gonna have some issues, and SGA he's a great player, but I think, you pull a four, what do they call that? 4-1 box on him, your best defender and, just, really stop him. I think they could find a way to beat this team and trying to rely on, a rookie and J-Dub, who has been playing great this year, but can J-Dub really carry a playoff team if they're able to get in, slow down SGA? And we know,
I think he
over the
can.
regular season, we'll see.
I'm there with J-Dub.
I I know I haven't seen it before from him. I've seen
he had that game
Doncic carry
earlier
this team to the Western Conference Final
in the regular season where he dropped 30 in the Garden without Shea. Remember that game?
No,
I know Giddey went off as well too, but that was the game where I'm like, I think Jalen Williams is the franchise, but I think he might be a franchise guy. Like, I don't know if he's an MVP
you're
type.
high on the team.
Yeah, I don't know if he's an MVP type guy. Like, I mean, Shea is clearly the number one option there going forward, but I think J-Dub is, you could build a playoff team around Jalen Williams. I think 100%.
For the people at home who are wondering, Paul George has a player option after this season, $48 million. Shout out at 34 years old. So he could become a free agent. But yeah, back to the with OKC. Honestly, like, I mean, you look at that team, they have talent everywhere, and I totally agree. But I do think their age and lack of experience is going to hurt. And, having the veterans, the players who, really showed up. I think the Pelicans, the way they're pushing them, that first game was even that close. I think there's an issue without Zion. I think that's a big issue for the OKC.
But they came back and got him in game 2. They proved their point in game 2.
I know. But it was mostly Chet Holmgren,
adjustments.
I think he shot well from 3. Yeah. I mean, like I say,
if you're gonna have Valanciunas out there, we're gonna pick and pop.
This is not, like I said, I'm not saying the Thunder are bad by any means. We're talking about them as a first seed. Let me see.
How can Shea be the MVP and they can simultaneously be bad?
Shea's not the MVP. Jokic is the MVP. And I would argue Doncic is a better MVP case
you
than
did say
Shea.
Doncic, yeah.
Yeah, I do have them
That's
both
true.
over him. So, yeah, I mean.
But he's on the ballot.
I do think.
I guess if Minnesota was the 1 seed, like, are they that much better than
I wouldn't say anything.
The Thunder? Like, would they be getting the weakest 1 seed?
I do think Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, like Cat, I do think, they're battle tested. These are guys who, play games. And, like, I'm not saying OKC can't win a single game. Okay. The Timberwolves?
What series did they win?
They won the first series last year. They won a series last year.
They got swept by Denver.
Yeah, they beat Memphis in 6. Let me see here. Oh, that was 2022. I'm just saying they played 2 years in the playoffs. Yeah, they've lost. They didn't get swept by Denver. They got a win off of them.
That's right.
And mind you, the only team in the West to do that. Just want to say LeBron Phoenix and AD couldn't do that. Okay, well, LeBron and AD couldn't do that. So that's all I want to say.
Oh, Jokic's in LeBron's head.
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, KD and AD. Yeah, but they went stupid though. They were putting up like 60 points a game.
Yeah.
They were going like into another level. But anyway, all that to say, I think playoff experience matters. And I do think OKC, I'm not saying they don't deserve to be the number 1 seed. They went out, played those games, they won them. I'm just saying they're one of the weaker number 1 seeds in a little bit.
Because they're not the Nuggets?
Well, yeah, that's one. They're not the reigning champions.
I mean, I think
that's a one.
I mean, you wouldn't say that you wouldn't pick Minnesota to beat them in 5. I mean, that's a 7-game series. Denver, that's 6 or 7 games.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm just ringing the alarm bells. I mean, I love Kason Wallace, but I do think I do think Josh Giddey's a real liability. I do think Josh Giddey
Shea
really
and
as their
Ant-Man, who would
number
you
one
rather
guy
have
off the bench.
right now for a playoff series? I mean, just go through the
I
guys.
don't
It's
know,
close.
man.
Shea and Ant-Man, it's close. J-Dub and Carl Towns.
It's
J-Dub or
close.
Gobert, it's close. Chet versus the next guy, it's close.
But the playoffs are a different game.
But
The
there's no
playoffs are a different game.
these
And
teams
I
are the
think,
same.
but that's the point, is that they're not. In the playoffs, they're not. There's a differentiator. You see the space, you see the difference. And, I don't trust OKC. They're up 2-0, obviously, on a Pelicans team without their number one option player. Yes, they went off in the second game. Where the Pelicans, I'm trying to see here. Yeah, where the Pelicans almost had 10 more turnovers in them. And mind you, Thunder created those turnovers.
Yeah,
But there's,
that's a top five
clear
defense.
reasons why. The Pelicans also shot 26% from three, while OKC shot almost 50%. So there's clear reasons why OKC won. Like, it wasn't, and that's why you need a number one player like Zion instead of Brandon Ingram, who's gotten benched multiple times for this team in their biggest moments. So, they're playing a team that, first of all, an 8 seed that is without their number one guy and, is clearly hurting. And I'm saying once they face a real challenge, there's going to be some serious issues shown on this team. And I'm just warning you, like, Josh Giddey is a real liability. Not having a backup center is a real liability for this team. I think, Kason Wallace, rookie, shout out to him. He's going to have some up and down games. I don't like their lack of depth from the point guard or from the center position and in terms of scoring. And Shea will always put up 30. But beyond that, I don't. No, the center J-Dub or Chet can show up some stuff, but I don't trust it.
I think the center thing is obviously a problem against Jokic, but I mean, it's like, okay, Chet can counter against these other guys. He's doing it against Valanciunas, and the way Shea has been handling the double teams against the Pelicans, it's the way he's finding the space before the double even comes over and just getting the rim and getting to a shot. Like, a lot of the times it's when they're signing the double, it's the offensive player is making the play because there's going to be an open guy. So it's like, okay, I got to find the pass here. And Shea is able to, in a good way, like, I can sense the double coming and pause and know how that gets me to my shot. Like, I can actually create space for my shot by sensing where the double team is happening. And I think in a late game situation, throwing a double, getting a shot off, like, Shea is just more equipped for that than Edwards is right now. Like, Shea's just a little more polished.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, he'll put up 30. Like, no, you're not taking away 30 from SGA. I'm just saying, where else does the scoring come from?
And J-Dub, they have two guys that can get a bucket at the end of a game, and then it's, maybe we'll need to make sure that the other guys are hitting our threes. Dort, Chet, Isaiah Joe, Giddey. The thing is, it's just, like, really, Dagnon needs to be ready to go. Like, if Giddey's not hitting our threes, it's Isaiah Joe, or it's, whatever other wing guy, Kason Wallace.
They gotta pull the plug on him quick.
But I mean, until they get the Jokic thing will be tough if they get there. But I don't know, Chet versus Zubats. I think he would give Zubats a lot of trouble if they were, but maybe it's Gafford with the Mavs. But that's a 6 or 7 game series either way. I mean, that's a bloodbath.
Mm-hmm. We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, it's just tough for me to not when Doncic is hot and you have Kyrie and they're playing and they're locked in. And that's the thing. When you look at Kyrie's career, when he's locked in, like, he can definitely, in the playoffs, he is shown to be a consistent performer, with the Celtics. Sure, there's that Bucks series, but before that, when he's locked in, he plays at a different level. And you have Doncic as well, continuing to be great. They have a team that's really made well for them. And it just feels like this is lighting up for Doncic to pretty much, little brother this team when they play each other. And I just can't can see it happening right now. I just feel like it's going to happen. Seeing the way that
What does little brother mean? Like 5? They're going to beat the Thunder in 5 games?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, 5 games. I'm not saying that they're going to like.
They don't even have home. The Thunder have home court in the whole playoffs.
It doesn't matter for the Mavs.
The Thunder might actually have the best crowd as well too. That crowd in the first 2 games was stupid. On fire.
That crowd's stupid, man. When they got those white shirts going, I mean, look up those KD, young team. They got that place rocking.
When that first game happened, and I mean, just throughout the entire game as well too. In the fact, the flag exactly. I was like, I forgot how good this was.
Yeah, no, they're great.
Psychopaths.
They're great. And yet the Pelicans without Zion were able to almost beat them in that place.
They beat them by 30 the next game.
Yeah, I get it, which they should. That's what they should do.
Exactly.
They should beat an 8 seed without their number 1 guy by 30.
But also, we talked about, the Pelicans are a talented team.
I think, the Pelicans are definitely a talented team, but they don't have their number 1 guy. I don't know. We can keep going back and forth. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just, warning a little alarm bell that the even though the Thunder are number 1 seed, which they do deserve, they are, I think they are one of the shakier number 1 seeds in a little bit. And don't be surprised if they get knocked off in the first round. And, if it's Mavs, it could be in 6. I don't know if it'll really go to 7 because I think it could be decided in 6, but we'll see. If it does go to 7 in OKC, I could still see Doncic pull it out. He has that mental toughness. I've really seen him take a step this year. And I'm
telling you right now, my prediction is there's going to be a moment, Game 7, Western Conference Finals. Because remember, the Thunder are the 1 seed. So if they're playing the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals in Game 7, that's where we're at. We're in OKC. There's going to be a moment with 3 minutes left when Shea has the ball where we're going to be like, the Thunder are going to the finals. This is going to happen, and then they're going to get a stop, and the Nuggets are going to, Jamal Murray's going to hit a shot. Jokic is going to do something crazy, and Nuggets are going to get there. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a moment in Game 7, Western Conference Finals. It's going to happen.
Oh, my gosh.
We're going to be like, are the Thunder going to do this? This is insane.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. But in the meantime,
I'm just telling you, that's where Shea's at
for
right
their
now.
Playoff lives. He's playing out of his mind. He'll give you 30. He's gonna give you 30, but they need something else from another player on that team. So we will see. I'm just watching Doncic, step up another level like he does every single year in the playoffs. And I don't know if the youngest team to be a number 1 seed is going to be the one to knock off, one of the most talented and top 5 players in the league right now with Kyrie. With Kyrie, I don't know. But looking over at the East, we got the Celtics playing playing down to the Heat. It's tied 1-1. No Jimmy Butler. You see, this is another, what's going on, man? I mean, you just see, at least the Celtics have an excuse that the Heat literally shot better than they literally have ever before.
Yeah.
But then they had that excuse also during the playoffs last year when they lost in 7 to the Heat. So I don't know, Rem. I mean, how much percent are you worried that the Celtics could actually get knocked out in the first round here?
Like 4% worried.
Yeah.
Not really at all, because I think Jaime Jaquez's stat line was perfect for the game, and he played really well, but he was 4 for 13 from the field, but he was 3 for 6 from 3. So, I mean, like we're saying, the Heat just were a franchise record. And the one 2-point field goal that he hit was in the second quarter, and it was just like a little backdoor layup where he just creeps, just right under the basket, and Pritchard and Horford don't really communicate on the switch. And he's just wide open. It's not even really any kind of contested shot. He just gets a wide open layup. So, I mean, they got hot from 3. I guess my question is, would this performance have happened if Jimmy Butler was out there for the Heat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
do they get the kind of same?
Probably would have won by 1.
Oh, yeah. Do they get the kind of same chaotic 3-point? We're just gonna chuck up threes tonight type of effort?
I mean, that's kind of what happened in
That's
their
what I'm
seven
saying. Do
game
they get
series.
that with
Caleb
Jimmy
Martin
out
played out
there?
of his mind. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do think they would. I'd be a lot more worried if Jimmy was playing, because I think him with that crowd can really get it going. But without him playing, I don't know. It's such an uphill battle for this team because I just don't think they have the scoring. I do think that this last game was an aberration. And I think the only team that can beat the Celtics is the Celtics in the East. And if they, if you see them beat themselves through mental games, it's so annoying because you watch in late games, the Celtics get in this same rut of doing ISO with James and Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and they're not Doncic. They're not Jokic. They're not that great, and it shouldn't be like that. It's not their best version of their team. And when they get that through their heads, then that's when this team can be really great. But as long as they keep, doing this ISO ball at the end of the games, they'll continue to be playing around with fire, and we'll see because fire is pretty hot.
Well,
It's a lot of heat.
that's why I think a Knicks series would be very interesting because Brunson is kind of a guy that is clutch at the end of a game. So if they're playing the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals and it's close game and it's Tatum and Brown versus Brunson going shot for shot, like Brunson might be the guy with the upper hand in that situation.
Or as weak as wax. I don't know. All right, hey, we're back. Back again.
Had a
little emergency. We're just cooking up some diss tracks. I don't know.
I know the Drake disc got us going. We were talking about the Drake disc. We had to take a bloody nose.
I'll be listening to that note nonstop.
Yeah. I don't know what we were talking about. Who we were? Do you want to drop that line, that diss track line you were doing while we were on timeout?
Nah. We gotta keep that in the story. We're cooking up the song. Hey, the thing is Russillo is a big lover of Iowa, so we can't hate on him. He loves everyone from Iowa. He loves the university. Shout out the Hawkeyes, American Need Farmers. He shouts them all out. So we can't make a diss track on him, but it would be pretty fire if we did. Pretty fuego. I don't know.
But it's not like we were doing a Russillo diss track in the timeout.
No, we never would.
We never would. But
no.
Anyways, the Knicks would.
Never would.
I think we were gassing up the Knicks.
I don't know.
But
Bill Simmons, the pod father. He's a pod uncle. Yeah. So I think we were moving over into the east side. I think we were talking about the Celtics being tied with not the Hawks. I'm geeking, the Heat. But yeah, we both agreed it is an aberration. Probably not anything serious. Probably Celtics moving forward. Next one is the Knicks, like you mentioned, 76ers. And even with Embiid putting up 50 in that game, I mean, it still looked like the Knicks kept pushing, they kept hanging around, kept trying to close this gap. And news comes out that Embiid is dealing with Bell's palsy.
Yeah.
We know his knee is banged up. There's all this stuff. I mean, he seems confident he can pull this off. Do you think, could he really tie it up at home?
Is that the NBA record for playoff points with palsy in an NBA game? Did Michael J. Fox ever play in an NBA game? Do you think if Embiid was fully healthy, they would beat the Knicks? Because the thing is, they kind of,
putting up 50,
haven't stopped him.
Yeah. He's lucky he was even playing. Probably should have been ejected for grabbing Mitchell Robinson's leg.
Oh, well, yeah.
That was a serious.
That was a yikes, but.
Yeah. So he's lucky he's even playing. Forget even all the injuries. But I do think this Knicks team is really on one. And, I know everyone's like, oh, this is without Randall. Yeah, they're playing great because they don't have Randall.
This is another thing I wanted to ask you. Josh Hart is better for this lineup. They're a better team because they don't. Yeah. He's a little undersized, but OG Anunoby has that size. I wish my main question is, would the Knicks be better if OG was 100% healthy, actually? That's the real question. Probably.
But seeing the way Tyrese Maxey has really blossomed, I think it really opens the door for who knows what could happen in the series.
The Maxey thing is interesting because I know we were joking. Was it last week or the week before about would you put him on the table for Steph Curry? But I mean, after watching what is happening in this playoff series, and I know they're gonna have cap space as well too. And you think about where Maxey is going to be at just in his contract point of his career, where I mean, he's going to get the max for him, but it's not going to be the max. It's going to be that first rookie max where he's going to be like in the 30 to, I don't know, maybe like low 40s. I don't know how high it's gotten at this point, but I mean, has he hit like, I don't want to call it untouchable status, but is he
he's untouchable.
He's kind of untouchable.
He's untouchable. The way his movement on some of the shots he was taking and like the way he was draining them and he's just going further back out. I mean, and just the confidence he has and he's able to hit these shots. I mean, if anything, he's a better scoring, more aggressive Austin Reeves. And that's him at worst. And
that's the best Maxey comp ever.
Yeah, but you see how fast he is. He's definitely faster than Austin Reeves. He's way more aggressive, and he's untouchable. You can't trade him, especially with how Embiid is. At least you'll still have someone who can be aggressive with the ball. And, you can't trust Tobias Harris. You can't trust anyone else on this team. So he's literally your only option besides Embiid to be a serious engine for this team. And we saw this in Maxey's first year when they had COVID. Everyone got hit with COVID and they only had like 5 players on his roster and he had 50 in his rookie year. I mean, Tyrese Maxey is legit. He is one of my favorite young guards in the league. And I love seeing him blossom in this series. And, it's just too bad that the Knicks have too much depth. I mean, their team, they're just so great. Also, shout out Bol for the massive slam.
I was just going to say Bol was checking in, and I was trying to check to see how many he played in the previous games because I was like, oh, they're really throwing everything at the table here. But to go back to this Suns game that we were talking about a little bit, like if they called the Sixers and said, would you do Maxey for Booker straight up? Would the Sixers do that?
I don't know. That contract is expensive, though.
That's the thing. Maxey's going to be on quite the contract.
Yeah. I don't know if you do that. Just because of the contract. And the 76ers love Maxey. From what I've heard, he's a loved guy just because of his aggressiveness. He has that Westbrook engine in him where you're seeing him and you're like, oh, he's trying 100%. Like every time he's on the court. His defense obviously could use some work, but when you see him attack the paint, the way he attacks, he doesn't have the athleticism, not the strength and power, but he has that agility, he has that speed. And, the 76ers just need someone to cheer for. They could cheer for Embiid, but he's just not around enough.
Now that you've said that, I'm like, he's more untouchable now because you're 100% right. He does play with the same sort of, I mean, Westbrook plays with maybe the most energy of any player ever, but
yeah,
just in terms of, you're right, Maxey's aggressiveness of getting to the rim, and there is a quickness element too, where they both have that equally like historic level quickness. But I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I can't really think. I was trying to go through just in my head of other guys like make the case. I mean, do I have to ask you again about Steph? Like, it does really seem like it is kind of in. I don't want to say he's creeping on Steph Curry's territory, but I get maybe Ja. Like, I guess. Ja is just like.
Well, and Steph is older. Like he can't. Yeah, I mean, Steph's never been.
Yeah, it's
like
all part of it.
The twitchy guy, like he makes quick moves, but he's not really a twitchy guy like Maxey. And now he's older, so that's part of it too. But Maxey's twitchy. He's that twitch, fast reaction speed, and will that translate to a long career? I don't know, but it's working right now. And
but even the way Brunson's been playing in this playoffs, where I haven't by any means lost any Brunson stock, but not that the Knicks would do this, but if there was a Brunson for Maxey swap, I just don't know why the Sixers would do that. They just go, I don't really see what we're gaining here.
They'd be more likely to do that. I don't know.
Would they
I
really?
think they'd be more open to that.
Again, with Maxey scoring right now, I mean, he's been 30 plus a game.
Yeah, I don't know.
The number that I saw was they're basically the new Kobe Shaq duo, just in terms of scoring.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I know everyone's talking about potential for a third star or a third, all-star player on this team
They're
because
gonna
of
have the
their cap
space.
space. But yeah, I mean, if they can get out of this first round from the Knicks, they have the ceiling with Embiid if he can get healthy to be real interesting in the playoffs. And now the Celtics
That would be
have
crazy.
always loved playing against the 76ers, but I mean, I really think the Celtics would love to face the Knicks. I think they would handle the Knicks pretty easily.
And
Um,
Embiid's
but
shot
yeah,
making right now, really, he's like
yeah,
really locked in the playoffs. Like we're really seeing playoff Embiid right now. Where again, I think the
yeah.
percentages for him were a little off in some of those early games, but again, a lot of that too is just where he's
I
at
mean,
physically
he
with his
had
injury.
50. Like,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, 100%. So I think the Knicks are very, very lucky that Embiid is returning off the injury the way he is, because if he was fully healthy, I mean, he would just be another level unstoppable. And they might even get this other game in Philly here. It might be tied 2-2 going back to New York. Like, we just don't know. I think that game's tomorrow. Is that game tomorrow night or tonight when you guys are
uh, uh,
listening to this Saturday night?
I don't think it's tonight because they
No,
played
like a
last
Saturday
night.
night, like when this drops, I
Let's
mean.
see here. Um, Let me pull up the
But
schedule.
you're not going to want to play Embiid
It
when he's playing
wouldn't,
at
it
this
wouldn't,
level. So,
yeah, no, you don't want to face them.
what's the most?
No, they're playing Sunday. They're
Oh,
playing
okay.
Sunday.
That's what I was. Yeah.
So
So
tomorrow.
they'll do. So yeah, tomorrow when you guys are listening to this, what's the most attractive destination for the off season? Is it San Antonio in the West or Philly in the East? If you're a star player like that.
Why do you keep throwing in San Antonio? I love, obviously want to team up with, but yeah, but that bench needs help. Oh gosh. No, it's probably the Timberwolves in the West and the
Mm.
76ers in the East.
I just want to know where we
I
fall
think
in
that
priority for these star players, like where they're looking at Wembanyama, because the rumors are that
yeah, I
he's
think
already
it's
had
top
guys
five.
hitting him up.
It's top five. Yeah, it's top five. Like, I'm not, we're not going to be delusional about it. Like, yeah, obviously everyone, Wembanyama would love to have him as teammate and be top five plays. But I think the Timberwolves, I think they could actually trade. They have Cat, they have Gobert. Like, they have potentially guys they could get rid of with huge contracts that, they could maybe make up for. I think definitely would lean more towards getting rid of Cat than Gobert. Um, just because of the defensive side and probably the star you're bringing in is an offensive player. But yeah, and then in the East, I mean, just bringing in Paul George, I would help the 76ers so, so much. I mean, just some decent average guy to be there every other night to help the 76ers and to help them in the playoffs. And we're seeing that now with the Pacers when you have a guy like Siakam, just some base level all-star or better player, it just enhances your team so much because you have someone else to go to, someone who can go create a shot. And the 76ers don't have that. I mean, Kyle Lowry, he's getting old. Tobias Harris, we don't even need to talk about him for the 100th time. And Kelly Oubre has continued to show every single stop that he's not a guy you can rely on. So just bringing even Paul George would be enough to, I think, make the 76ers a serious threat
Oh yeah.
um, to be contenders.
And the reason I brought that up too is because I want to clarify what we were talking about with Allie is I do agree with you. And if I was like LeBron and I wanted to leave LA, like I think the Philly now, especially with Maxey just like being like, oh, he is like
Yeah.
fully emerging as this playoff dude. Like that is clearly, I think, now the number one destination for a guy looking to go somewhere. Even maybe even
Imagine
Giannis
pick and
too.
rolls with LeBron and Embiid.
What if Giannis wants to go there?
Imagine, I don't
But yeah,
know. I mean,
LeBron and
imagine
Embiid
pick
pick
and
and
rolls
rolls would
with
be
LeBron
crazy.
and Embiid.
Yeah.
I mean, they both can shoot it. They both can go to the paint. They're both dominant, huge players. Like
Maxey just in the
that'd
corner,
be
just
crazy.
flying to the basket, hitting open shots.
Yeah, that'd be the perfect role for Tobias Harris. Be that fourth guy, Nicholas Batum
Oh, he's
being
gone in
that
this
fourth or fifth
situation.
guy. Like,
I think they'd sacrifice. I think they easily sacrifice Tobias
oh,
Harris to bring in
traded
LeBron,
him.
or just move on from his money
Well, they have the cap space. They
to
could
bring
just
them
sign
both
him.
in.
Uh, that'd be a
Because
minimum. I don't
I
know.
think
We'll
they'll
see.
have the cap
Yeah,
space
probably
because
go
Tobias
Tobias.
Harris isn't expiring.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. And then the cap always going up. Shout out. Um, and then let's see. Next series is the Bucks and Pacers. Are you ringing the alarm bells? I mean, the Pacers are up 2-1. The
Yeah.
Bucks did get knocked out last year by the Heat, and I think they only won one game in that series. So similar situation. No Giannis. Um, I mean, yes, this last game went back and forth. So it was close, but that's the problem is that it was close. And I don't know. I mean, it's not looking good. At least it's game to game with Giannis, but still.
Do you think we see Giannis play for the Bucks again? I'm saying in general.
I know. I don't
Because
know, man.
I'm like
I
70-30.
Yeah.
And I mean, if he plays this year, then I mean, I'm still probably 70-30 on whether or not he's there next year. I think still give it one more shot. But I mean, the Dame thing is just, I don't know why that, we're talking about Embiid, Giannis pick and roll. I don't know why a Dame Giannis thing is just, that combination is not working. I guess maybe it's the defensive part of it. But I mean, they obviously are going to need Giannis if they want to win this series. And maybe they're still able to be feisty in 7 or something. But I mean, to be really that competitive team, obviously they need their guy back. But really, yeah, I think the supporting cast here, the fact that Dame Lillard is able to have these heat check performances, it seems like more often without Giannis is, I don't know, just head scratching that they haven't been able to put all those pieces together. I don't know what's more head scratching, the Bucks experiment or the Suns experiment.
Definitely the Bucks. Getting rid of Drew Holiday is definitely hurting them. And yeah, I mean, Dame, he had 28 tonight. He had 35 in that one game, but he had 0 in the second half.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's just you go back and forth with the Pacers team that has talent. Pretty much, I mean, I think these are pretty much equal teams without Giannis. I mean, you look at the talent on both sides, and it is
kind of like a Dame Portland team.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you look at the Pacers, Siakam, Turner, Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, those are all good players. OP Toppin off the bench had 15 and 17 minutes. TJ McConnell's leading your second unit. Like, those are good players for the Pacers. And so, I mean, it makes sense why they're competing with the Bucks, who already had question marks about their depth and now don't have Giannis. They already showed some shakiness throughout the season. And I don't know. I mean, I think this is honestly the first time where we could seriously question about Giannis sticking around, because them messing up the coach situation, having 3 different coaches throughout the season definitely hurt this team a lot. And I think the Dame experiment obviously didn't work as well as people thought. I was out here, I was part of the hype, I was hyping it up, and Dame's defense, which we knew would be an issue, continued to be a bigger issue. So I don't really see a way up for these guys. I've already said Bogdanovich trade, all that, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's a real possibility.
And I think you might have called it with this Suns Timberwolves game that we're watching in the background as well, too, because you said when we were in our little break that, or you might have said before after Allie left the pod, but that this game was going to be a classic. And it's going into halftime right now, and it's been like 1 to 2 to 3 points basically the entire way down. Minnesota's up by 1 right now. Durant's hitting like crazy post fadeaways in the baseline, his iconic shot, getting to the line. They can't stop Anthony Edwards. I think you might have called it. Durant's leaving it all out on the line tonight.
It's an elimination game. 2-0. I mean, everyone knows. Like, they see it on TV every time. The players know too. You go down 3-0 and no one's beaten a team up 3-0 in a series. So this team, the Timberwolves, they've been taking it to the Suns in a personal, kind of way. And, I mean, Anthony Edwards He's trying to intimidate these guys. Like it's personal. This is not some and that's the thing I love about the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards specifically is he recognizes the moment. He's like, oh, I'm playing a top 15 player in NBA history who has been dominating the league for a good part of this decade, and I am bringing him to his retirement home.
He sees it like a UFC fight. Scene. He's like trying to take his belt.
Yeah, he understands. He understands, and he's not only trying to beat them in terms of the game, he's trying to mentally beat this team. He's beating them down because he understands that, this is my moment as a superstar to shine, and I'm not only beating you in terms of on the field, but I'm beating you man to man. And that's something that I wish Tatum had, to take that ownership. You need a little, like I try to say time and time again, you need a little bit of nastiness to win in the NBA. You're dealing with all these other guys. You can't just beat them on the basketball court. You gotta beat them mentally too. And that's what, you see players, definitely Denver, we see them like have even killed and stuff like that. But, Jamal Murray gets a little nasty at times. Jokic, you push him around. He gets gnarly sometimes. Like they're not,
it's his family.
Walkover guys.
His brothers are punching people in the stands right now.
Brothers knocking people out. So
his brothers fighting Tyson Fury next.
It's just that backbone. Exactly. And that's why I don't trust OKC again against Dallas, because Dallas, they got that toughness, they got the nastiness. And
Shay's got that nasty though.
The Clippers. We'll see. And they just beat the Clippers without Tim Hardaway, who sprained his ankle. Let me see if Gafford even played. Gafford did play. He didn't play great, but he did play. So yeah, and Gafford has shown himself to be one of the better big men defenders in the league. So him on chat. I don't know.
And Beal's also got to hit that corner three.
Yeah.
Beal, my guy. Come on.
You're ahead. I don't know where we're at. I'm still looking at hype man stuff. Let's see. So we talked about 3-6. All right, 4-5. The most boring series in the league. Cavs
Should we
against
just
Magic.
Skip it like the broad, like the media rights deal?
Most people, like, it's on NBA TV. Like no one cares.
I want to know from this series.
It was nice to see Paulo.
I do want to know for this series from you, what is Mitchell's upside in this series for the Cavs? Like, what can he gain from a good playoff series? Because I feel like you're basically like 99% certain that he's not going to be there. Like, you've said that pretty consistently over the season.
Yeah.
So he's just increasing his trade value?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. It's insane to hear how strong the sources are saying he's gone. Shout out to Bill Simmons and Ryan. But they don't just say stuff to say stuff. Like
I think Windhorse too. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's like rumblings at this point. It's just word on the street.
It's like earthquakes.
It's almost like I almost want to say it's like common knowledge. Yeah, there's
yeah. You know, the like LeBron billboard. There's a Mitchell one. like
a thank you for your service billboard, and they're going to be in the second round of the playoffs.
Are they like, oh wait, we weren't supposed to reveal it. Oh, what?
Like, I just don't understand this. Is this team going to make a run?
14, not 340.
Is this team like this team's going to be in the second round and still like, no, Mitchell's out of here?
Could the Magic turn around and win this?
I mean,
you think
if Franz gets hot,
tie it up.
They're gonna need Franz to shoot better. But
all they needed was Paulo.
Yeah, they need Paulo to go nuts, and then if Jalen Suggs hits his threes, like, I mean, that's their formula. That's been their formula all year. But they would need Franz to get his shooting form back in these last couple of games.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, it's been him all season. It's been a yikes. We'll see. I mean, young teams play well at home, so I could see them definitely tied up at home. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have much Cavs Orlando breakdown. I've not been studying the series. But I do. There's part of me that really wants the Magic to win this series. I don't like teams that are talking all season about how they're not going to be around each other. You know, I don't think there's much reason.
It's like, what's the point in you guys winning and continuing to advance. This team's not going anywhere.
Like you want to blow this up anyway. And the team, I don't know. I mean, they played better without Garland. And Donovan was just doing his thing. So
it's like,
I don't
why are you
know.
guys? It's like, why are you guys at the family Christmas together? I thought you were living in different houses.
I thought you told us you broke up like 3 weeks ago.
Wait, didn't you get an apartment in a different city? What are you guys doing here?
Didn't you sell the ring like last week? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. But yeah, I mean, if Orlando wants to win any game slash beat the Cavs, they definitely have to be up by a lot because them in crunch time is not great.
Mm.
It's not great. That's all I got. That's all the Orlando breakdown I got. Shout out Orlando. Um,
That's because that's the 30 minutes that we get to see before we get to the good games.
I know. It's like, oh,
They get just stacked
you
against
can't even
these.
get it on it. It's not even, it's just on NBA TV, like every game. I don't
Maybe the
know. I think I
greatest
saw one
night.
person joke. They put it on Disney Channel 4.
Did we have a slime version? Was it just a slime broadcast
Yeah, I know.
for the
I've watched
Cavs?
this one.
The Nickelodeon broadcast for Cavs Magic. And it's just on the background and just the greatest night of playoff basketball of all time with that TNT doubleheader that we got with that Jamal Murray shot.
Gosh.
It's like, oh yeah, I forgot
Okay,
the
but I
Cavs
do have a
played.
serious question though. Where are you on Paulo? Like, what's his ceiling for you? Because I feel like people there's a wide range, I think, for people where Paulo is. Like, his first rookie season, he was putting up LeBron-like numbers. And then, this year it's up and down. And then, but he's like pretty much the star of the future. Like, could Paulo be an MVP guy at one point? Is the
Mm.
question.
MVP is always. I mean, there's three guys in the MVP ballot, so we know like it takes
Exactly.
has Anthony
Could
Davis
be a
ever been
top
one of the
five
three
player in the league.
guys on an MVP ballot?
We went with the Pelicans.
Yeah,
Or
like
some,
maybe once or
yeah.
twice. Like it takes a lot to get up there for
Yeah.
Paolo, but I think he's definitely on pace to make an all NBA team at some point. I think that's definitely in his future.
Okay. All
if
NBA.
if I'm Orlando, I still feel very, very good about building around him as a franchise guy. And I think the defense that they've had, and if Franz gets back to shooting the threes really consistently, then that really
Yeah.
makes that lineup look a whole lot different because this season it's been Paolo and Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs has kind of been their second best player. And I don't think that that's what the
Yeah.
Magic fans expected going into the
Shout
year.
out my
So
boy. I love it.
I'm
Never
still
sold that stock.
very high on Paolo.
Also never sold Bobo stock. We'll see. First
Yeah.
one to do it. We'll see. Yeah, I don't understand what Franz is doing. Yeah, I don't. Let me see. Let's see what the numbers tell us because it's just, I don't know.
I don't want to project this on him, but I want to say he was less than 30% this year. It might have been that bad.
Maybe it was EuroLeague basketball. He just
And
saw
he
his
played in the
brother,
World Cup.
or his brother, and he's like, all right, let me play like him.
I mean, he was on the team. He was
Let's
on
see
Germany
here.
won the
Him
World
over
Cup
the
final this year.
season. Over his career, he's 33% from three. This season, he was 28%
28.
from three. That's a yikes.
He was still 57% from two this year. So that's actually a career high for him from two. Just 28% from three is, yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's Jet Howard level stats right there. Come on, buddy.
Don't talk about the kid like that.
Sorry, Jet.
Let's see. What else do we have on this rundown? I think that's about it. We do have piercing truth. Some news announced this week. Coming to an NFL game, regular season, normal NFL games near you. Guardian caps. They've been used a lot in practices, and the league recently announced this week that players can wear Guardian caps throughout the year. For people who do not know, it's like a big black blocky thing on top of your helmets. And there's definitely questions about it covering the logo on people's helmets. I don't know. Could it end up confusing players on the field? I don't know. I don't think so, but I think I do
Just
think
get different color Guardian caps.
I don't
Easy
know.
fix.
Well, and that's why I'm wondering, can people not get like team branded Guardian caps? Is this hard? Like how many millions do we have in the NFL? You can't print a logo on a Guardian cap?
You can't just have the red team and the black team. The red helmets and the blue helmets. Boom. NFL,
do you
easy
think this
fix.
will hurt? Do you think this will hurt? And this will be I guess only allowed during the regular season. I don't know.
Wait, so the guys are wearing it in the games or just practice?
Yeah. No, in the games. They've been wearing them in the practice.
Oh, they're gonna let them wear them in the games.
Yeah. And then they were mandated by some of the players at some of the teams, like to wear them in practice and stuff during training camps and stuff. But yeah, players don't have to. They can wear wear them during games. And this is obviously the science that points to the safety. It's nearly a 50% reduction in concussions for the position group that wore them, because they were mandated for players at certain positions to wear them during training camp, and that's where they did the stats. So shout out to the league, and I guess they'll exempt players from having to use them if they wear one of the 6 new helmet models so I guess there's certain helmet models that provide equal or better protection. So, but they are mandating that in training camp, every player has to wear a Guardian cap except for quarterbacks and specialists. Because, training camp, you're never supposed to get the quarterback.
Yeah, they get the red jersey.
Specialists, whatever. They're playing. Yeah, you're a kicker, man. But that's interesting. The league is forcing players to wear it during training camp, and now they're allowing players to wear it during games. Do you think this hurts the product at all? Visual product? You don't see the logo. It seems uneven, with uniforms and stuff. Or do we just need to all get over it?
Yeah, nobody's really going to care in like 2 weeks after this happens. I think, like we were saying, the color coordination thing is an easy fix. If you're wearing the white jersey, you have a white Guardian cap, and if you're wearing the dark color jersey, your Guardian cap just matches your dark color jersey. Seems like a pretty simple way to go about it. And I don't know if the players are necessarily going to go for it because I think they don't really like it anyways. I know when the Guardian caps were mandated originally in the training camps, a lot of the players were like, we don't really like these. So I don't know if it's going to necessarily catch on as an in-game thing. And it sounds to me like the NFL has a new helmet sponsor, and they really want their guys to wear those helmets. I don't know. Do the NFL players, is it like high school where the NFL players have to like buy their own helmets? At least in the high schools we went to.
I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think so. It's professional teams. They're making money.
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't think at IMG Academy either. If they're selling candy bars by their helmets, but
yeah.
Shout out Kennedy High School.
I don't think they're making enough off of those. Also, that scuffle we were talking about earlier, it looks like Russell Westbrook was ejected, his first of his career in the playoffs. Also, PJ Washington was ejected, which is what you do as a big man when you get your star pushed. So shout out to him. But back to the NFL.
Yeah, I think they just need to find a way to put a logo on the side. Like, this shouldn't be that hard. You can't like laser print a logo or something. Like, you guys have millions of dollars.
I don't know if we want to go all first take on the Guardian caps, but I think the color is the way to go over the logo.
More than the logo?
That's my take.
Oh.
Molly, I don't know what this guy thinks, but I think you should go with the color Guardian cap over the logo.
Why can't you do both? Why can't you do both? Do the color, and then print on the logo. You do that with the normal helmet.
The Guardian caps are the way it's all blocky. I don't know if I think the logo would. I don't think it would look great.
Yeah,
I think it'd be too segmented.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right. I don't know. Anyway,
graphic design.
So yeah, don't be surprised if people's head looks like Minecraft this next
Yeah.
this next
You made me
year.
shoot out my
This is the
tissue.
blocky heads. Oh gosh. Hang in there.
Pause.